A couple of counters are definitely making it big in today's trading session, and definitely stocks like Siemens, Thermax, ABB are doing pretty well in today's trading session. So onto the buy now, sell now lens, we're going to be focusing on that itself, that why these counters are buzzing in trade today and why is these counter excited all of a sudden. So let's understand that what are the dynamics that are at play, because in the past 6 months or so, all these major counters and the leaders in the sectors have almost doubled right now. So let's go across to my colleague Anisha, who is standing by with more details. Anisha? All right, we will connect with Anisha in a short while from now, but before we go to Anisha, let's hear out from the management itself. Siemens MD and CEO Sunil Mathur expects growth to improve as the government and private capex picks up. He also shares his outlook on the margins and the shareholding structure of Siemens Energy. Let's go across and listen into him.
Growth rate of Siemens Limited is known to you. We've been growing at a very good growth rate over the last 4 or 5 years. And we expect that growth rate to improve in the years ahead as the government continues on its path of capex spending in infrastructure and as private sector investments start kicking in. At some point in time, Siemens AG has already announced their intention that Siemens Energy will take over majority shareholding in the new company. Beyond that, we have no idea what the ultimate plans of the promoter companies are. The margins have increased on various accounts, and we've mentioned that also. Part of it is our volumes have gone up, and with the volumes going up, there is definitely an impact, a volume impact appearing in the margins there. In addition to that, there have been cost control measures that the company has gone into, has carried out, as also other productivity measures in our factories and other areas. In addition, we've had some special earnings because of sale of some property and some dividend that we received. So overall, our intent is to continue to grow the margins.
So that is the MD and CEO of Siemens talking about the way forward going in for the company, especially for Siemens Energy. But Anisha is here now to exactly tell us how are the numbers for Siemens. And in fact, Anisha, if you look at it, the stock is not only moving on back of the earnings, but also it is moving not only on earnings, I believe, and also it is moving on the announcements that the management has made, isn't it? And also you have ABB. After ABB's earnings, also you saw Siemens run up. So if you could tell us what exactly is happening in the space, what are the commentaries coming in from the management?
Just to the tune of the highest that we have seen in the last 7 years, and that is happening because the order visibility is quite strong. They talked about the entire power transmission sector, which is likely to see an uptick, and that's why they're increasing the capacity in the switchgear and substation segments. There's also other activity which is expected to pick up, which is from the railways vertical, and Siemens has been getting in large amount of orders from that as well. So that is clearly reflecting in the numbers. Well, the top line itself was a beat, but there was a bigger beat on the margin front, and that percolated to the bottom line as well. And the order visibility, as I talked about, is also very strong. The other big news flow that happened was, of course, the demerger. Remember, earlier the company had tried to sell off a part of the business to the parent company. That was shot down by the minority shareholders. Now they've come up with a better plan, which seems like a win-win for all. So they are doing a mirror demerger, which means that the shareholding of the demerged entity will be pretty much same to the current entity, and everybody will get to participate in the value creation. And also ultimately it seems like that the parent wants to hold in a majority stake in the separately listed arm. So that's the other thing to watch out for. But overall, it's a good news coming in, thumbs up coming in from brokerages as well, because the likes of Jefferies has upgraded target price over 8,000 bucks now versus 5,000, 6,000 that they had earlier, and the entire sector is clearly in favor. Very strong commentary that came by from ABB. Thermax was a bit softer when it comes to the performance, but the visibility there was also strong. And when you look at L&T's number as well, they had talked about a good growth of almost 10% on their order inflow, and that came on a jump of 20% in the year gone by. So clearly, the orders are galore. It's now all about execution for these guys.
Orders galore for these capital goods majors, especially for Siemens. And yes, execution definitely is the key when it comes to huge order win. Thank you so much for that, Anisha. And let me bring on board our guest for today. We have Kush Bora, who's joining us on the technicals, while on the fundamentals. Today we have Shaina Mukadam joining us. A very good morning to you, Kush, as well as Shaina. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. And Shaina, let me come first to you. Siemens, definitely good set of numbers, good strong commentary coming in from the management, and that's actually made the stock actually see a sharp run of about 9% or so on an intraday basis. And also ABB, after ABB earnings as well, you saw the counter move up. So what do you make of the earnings and the commentary coming in from Siemens, and also the corporate action that is coming in for the counter?
Actually, if you see, the whole sector has come out with very strong numbers. We saw Thermax also, including in the other two that you mentioned, Siemens and ABB. The numbers are coming out extremely, very strong numbers. Here also, as we saw in Siemens, the top line growth was about 18-19%. And with order book close to about 20,000 crores, I think going forward also, the growth is likely to be pretty strong. Also, as you mentioned, as the analyst mentioned, you had a very big improvement in overall EBITDA margins. And EBITDA margins definitely are benefited because of lower raw material costs, better revenue growth. And I think this is likely to continue going forward, given the fact that they are continue to invest in their own capacity. They're adding capacity. Capex is going to be around 520 odd crores over the next year or next 2 years. They will be benefiting from that in the overall growth going forward. Also, as you mentioned, that the demerger of the electrical business will happen, and that is like I would say a value unlock for shareholders. At the same time, what I believe is that the stock price has rallied, in my view, a bit ahead of valuations. So if you look at pure valuations, it's about now at current valuations, you see it's about 10 times the turnover, current turnover. So what I feel is that it is pretty expensive, even on PE basis, on all parameters actually. So I would prefer, if you're holding, continue to hold, of course, because it's a very strong fundamental stock. Hold with a stop loss, maybe closer to 6,000. But if you're not and you're looking to buy, in my view, it's better to buy it at declines.
All right, the stocks are doing pretty well, but that's the call coming in from Shahina that you can enter these counters but on declines. But Kush, talk to us, how do you track these counters on the technical front? Because like we can see that in the past 6 months, the stocks like Siemens, ABB India have almost doubled. Do you believe that given the strong run up and no stopping for these counters, there's still room for more upside?
Hi, Srishti. A very good morning to you. Hi, Shaina. And Cheryl, good to have you back on the show. You're looking exhausted and energized at the same time. I know must have been some trip. As far as Siemens goes, look, the stocks actually run up quite a bit. We all know that. And what's interesting for me is that not only on the daily charts, but even on the weekly charts, it is in the, in far, overbought territories. So I agree, with China completely that you should hold this stock if you've got in your portfolio. But any fresh buying should be initiated somewhere close to 6,500 and 6,300 kind of zones, where the stock will perhaps cool off a little. And I wouldn't be surprised that in the coming times or in the coming months, the stock might perhaps see a dip, if for no other reason, perhaps just because it's gone into a far overheated territories. So for me, this is definitely a buy. And as you rightly said, Steve, not just this stock, particularly a couple of other colleagues, also of this stock, or rather, some of the other counterparts also. But it's a buy on dips from here on, far, higher up into the overbought territories. So wait for some cooler for a fresh entry.
Right, so that's the take coming in on Siemens from Kush as well. And yes, Kush, definitely it was an exhausting holiday, I must say. And what's even more exhausting is when you return back from that good long break. And it was not that long, it was only 5 working days. It's just only 5 working days, so not that long as it. But yes, I must say you are looking pretty well rested after your break as well, isn't it, Kush?
We were perhaps in the same territory, so yeah, you know.
We got to know that.
Yes, absolutely. Shaina must be wondering when will ET Now guys let me take a break, isn't it, Shaina?
Next week.
Okay, fine. I will let
A long weekend that is coming. So
that's the right one, actually, right time to take one.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.